What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Serie Addicts. Marco Romano with Tito Yang. As usual,
You
he'll
know it.
here to give you the recap of Serie A Matchday 22, as well as talk about the Italian team's performance in the last match of the group stage in the
Yep.
UEFA Champions League. The teams that made it through, teams that did not make it through, and how's that gonna impact their run for a potential title or a European place in Serie A this season. We'll sprinkle some of the stuff going on in the market as well as we talk about some of the big clubs as they try to make some moves to get a better footing in a very competitive Serie A title race this season. Anything else that you want to call out, Tito? I know we probably talk a little bit about the amazing goal from Druin for Benfica,
Yeah, that
right?
was
Which you don't
crazy.
usually talk about other teams,
That's
but
crazy.
Mourinho with some magic,
Still the
Druin
special
pulling
one.
it off,
He's still very
the
special,
special
apparently.
one,
That
which
was
was a
a.
weird situation.
Listen. A lot of people were very skeptical about the new format of the UEFA Champions League, but I like it. To be honest,
Same,
I
same.
like it. I like it. It creates like
Yeah,
this crazy, like March Madness style, like freaking
yep.
frenzy on the last match day, where you don't know what the hell is gonna happen, and it's crazy and it's nuts and like it's exciting, and I really like it. I felt it was
And you
really
avoid
nice
kind of
watch.
having your team fall in like a group of death situation,
Yeah,
right? Versus other teams that have it real easy
super
during the group
easy.
stage, right? You get a
Yeah,
little bit of everything. You get to see teams, right, that you don't usually see play, right? Get to see some young talented players and
exactly.
what other nations have. For me, it's been very
Yeah,
interesting seeing teams from like Norway and other places
yeah.
that I've never heard of before, yet alone seeing the players that they have and how they play.
Yeah, like
So
Kurabag.
it's an
Kurabag
interesting
makes it
format.
out of the Kurabag makes it out of the first round, like and Napoli doesn't. Like that. That's the thing. It's like they turned it into, you know what? No, you can't just get lucky a couple of times
Yep.
and get through the group. No, you got to play 8 matches, and you're gonna have to be consistently good throughout all these months against like completely different competition. It's not like
And
gonna be
that's
like
what I like about
I
it,
like
right? Because
it.
it's easy to game plan when you're only playing against three teams, right?
Yeah,
Twice,
yeah,
versus when you're playing a different opponent every single time, right? You got to stay up to speed with all the changes that those teams are making,
yeah,
right? And their style of play, their different players. So it makes it very interesting. So I agree with you. I like the new format on the Champions League. It
yeah.
makes it more entertaining, and I think it also makes sure that the most informed teams are the ones that are making it through.
Exactly, no, because otherwise, if somebody gets like Nordsjælland and like, like a
Yeah,
small, team from like Sweden or something in their group, and then it's like Barcelona and Manchester City, and then there's two teams that are gonna make it out of that. You already
yeah.
know who it's gonna be. Like that's not, you know what I mean?
And you can play with your B team right throughout the group stage because
That's right.
you
I'm sorry.
you had the luck of the draw and just drew some teams that you know are not going to be competitive.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah,
It,
it's I feel it's been awesome this new format.
I agree.
So I'm glad that they made that change, which usually with
Sometimes
those
it's
types of
good.
changes you're skeptical,
Yeah, everybody
right?
was skeptical. I mean, a lot of
And
people
it
were like,
kind
"What are they doing?" I'm like, "Nah, this is great."
and it also makes it better for like the last match day, right? Because it
Yep.
incentivizes team to make it straight through to the round of 16, right? Because now you're adding two more games on your calendar,
Yeah.
right? In the situation when you talk about Inter, when you talk about Juve and Atalanta, right? On an already very congested calendar with a lot of games, you're adding two more matches on top
Yeah.
of that. Granted,
Yeah.
from a financial standpoint, you'll make a little
It's
bit
not
more
that
money,
bad. Yeah.
but it's a lot of matches, right? Already that are
Yeah.
being played with so many different tournaments going on.
Yeah, that's true. But again, like I think as a fan, and then again, I kind of cheated, right? Because this is the first year that they do this format. But in Football Manager, the game that I'm always playing, they had this format already implemented in the simulation. So I had been playing this format of the Champions League already for like a couple of seasons in Football Manager, and I could see how it changed basically everything. that calculus that you said, like that thing where the manager would be like, oh, we already won the first 4 games. The last 2 games we're already
Yeah.
qualified. We could play with like the kit man, and like we just bring the other guy who never
Yep.
plays from like the B team, and like people you
Yep.
like last 2 games you had a team that was just like not giving a shit, playing against a team that maybe is already eliminated and they don't give a shit either, and
Yep.
that could happen after the fourth turn, and then it would be just like boring, man. Like this
And to the
eliminates
flip
that.
that of that, it's better for the fans as well, right? Because
Yeah,
they're not coming to a match expecting to see right the starting 11 for a certain team who they've never seen
exactly,
before,
bro. It's like
and
this.
they see just a bunch of bench players and B team players, right? It forces the stars to at the very least make an appearance, right? Because granted, most of the top level teams, right, rest their stars here and then, but they always see the pitch at least for 30, 45 minutes or a half.
Exactly. And listen, like if you're one of the smaller teams, that also you're not gonna play two of the bigger teams twice. Like that's the thing. It's like you're not gonna get City in your group, and then they're gonna beat you 6-0 the first game, and then 5-0 the second game, and you don't have a shot of making it ever. You know what I mean? Like you get to play other teams. I love it. Honestly, I love it. I feel like change is not always good, but this is one time when I was like skeptical at first, but then I played it in Football Manager and I was like, this is actually amazing. This is great. And it turns out like it's
Yeah.
super exciting on that last match day 8. Can you imagine the bets that day? Can you imagine the
Yeah.
bookies on match day 8? Oh man, that must have been
Now I know why they did it.
insane.
That's a lot more money as well.
Dude. Oh my god, dude. That
But definitely new format, A plus so far,
two
right? And
thumbs
let
up.
us know your opinion, right? If
100%.
you think differently, but at least, right,
You're
I agree with
wrong
you.
if you think differently. You're wrong. It's just I want to say,
But
right?
let us know why, and at least we'll hear you out.
Yeah, yeah. Even though you're wrong, we'll humor you. Yeah,
And flipping over to the Serie A, we had a lot of great matches, right? We had the top four teams playing against each other, right? Oh, four of the five top teams.
yeah,
We have a couple of beatdowns, right? Very lopsided
yeah, bro.
matches
That
as
was a
well.
tennis match.
Yeah, starting off with one of those matches, but this one was a little bit interesting because it was more of a comeback. Right, we had Inter playing against Pisa, 6-2 for Inter, but Pisa started on fire.
One thing, what was Jan Sommer doing in that first goal? Like, what was that, dude?
Ridiculous. Yeah,
Like, why?
definitely a very lapsadaisical pass. Very bad mistake to start things off with a great finish. Right, you got to
Yeah,
give props because that's not an easy
yeah,
finish from that far out.
bro. But
And it was a
we
great
we
finish from Moreo.
we defend Jan Sommer a lot here because he did pull out like some amazing stops in last year's Champions League that helped Inter get there. But that second goal, bro, on the
No,
first
this
post,
one,
like what the fuck, man? Like the second goal, you could have done a way better job on that one too.
but granted, right, it was raining. It was a decent header from close range, right? It's not
Yeah,
that easy, right? So
but he's a top level keeper. Like he gotta
he should have had that one covered.
poke that
Definitely, the
shit out,
first
yeah.
one was a lot worse, right? That
Yeah,
first
yeah.
mistake that led to the first goal from Pisa
That's a really bad
was a
pass.
lot worse. But very surprising, right? I was definitely not expecting to at the beginning, right, very early in this match, to see Inter go down 2-0, especially with the other matches that were going on throughout the weekend.
Yeah.
Props to Kibu. I feel for making those changes early in the game because he subbed out Luis Enrique to bring on Di Marco,
I told you
which
last
was
week, bro.
more most needed. And I don't think Luis Enrique was playing bad at all. It's just that he provides very little offensively, or has provided very little offensively compared to Di Marco. Di Marco, I said it on the last podcast. For me, he's probably Inter's best striker right now at the moment.
Yeah.
He's in form. Came in. It was a play from Di Marco's strike on goal that created the kind of the melee in the box that led to the first pen to the pen, which Zielinski put away like a
That's
boss.
a rocket.
Yeah, like nothing for the keeper to do on that one, and you could tell
Crazy
that
rocket.
that that woke up the beast in Inter, which I like to see. It's something that I haven't seen all season, right? And
Yeah.
uh, facing adversity, right? Have the troops rally together, right? Bring out that grinta, right? Put some effort into the match, and it wasn't that far later that Lautaro Martinez doubled up for Inter on a beautiful cross from Di Marco.
Yep.
Again, props to Kiwu for bringing in the winger. Made an immediate impact, and right before the half, which was the
Oh.
crazy part of this game, in that
Esposito
first half,
still going,
Pio
bro.
Esposito
Oh.
from a great cross from Bastoni. This time, Bastoni got up front, put in a great ball in for Esposito, who very good number 9 header right towards the ground to the second
Yeah, that's
post.
perfect.
Very good goal
Bro,
for Pio.
Bastoni's
Again,
cross was just premium too. Like
perfect,
he put it
perfect,
like
right?
perfectly.
Because from that angle, it can't be too much of a lob, right? It has to be more like a
That
straight
was
shot.
whipped.
It
That
was
was
perfect.
whipped
Whip.
in there like
That's the
boom.
perfect word. The perfect word. It,
Freaking
it was
whipped it.
whipped in perfectly.
Yeah, beautiful header.
But incredible to see, right? It was a very entertaining first half, especially right. Seeing Inter come down from three to from two down
Yeah.
to take the 3-2 lead.
Esposito needs to
And
play in the national team.
he is in the national team. He should get more time.
He needs to
Still
play.
want to take
Needs to
want to
play
take
more.
baby steps, but he's
No, bro,
he's
like
definitely
why
looking
why
better.
are we playing like Argentinian forwards? Just play Italian guys. Like play Esposito. I know Retegi's great and it's cool, yeah, like he could play for us, but I mean, let's develop these kids like by giving them chances to
True.
actually play, you know? Cuz other
He's
other
gonna get his up.
other countries
He's
will
gonna get his
play a
opportunity.
18-year-old. You know what I mean? Like other countries will
Yep.
play a 19-year-old, an 18-year-old. And Italy's acting like they're too good to play a 18-year-old cuz they're Italy and then they're losing with these stupid 27-year-old losers. I'm joking.
I
Like
agree.
we got pretty good players, but
No,
we
no,
just
but
haven't
but
been able to
obviously,
get like the good results though. But
especially up front, right? I feel
yeah.
we've had some good prospects, but they just never develop and take that next step. That's why I like what Kibu is doing with Esposito, right? He's been somebody that's been his coach since the Primavera days, right? So he knows the player. He's not over putting way too much pressure on him. I feel he's kind of just giving him a little bit more time, building up his confidence. I think he has a great group and core around him,
Yeah.
right? Of professionals, right? That have competed for the biggest trophies, right? That are it's gonna help him a lot mature a lot quicker, and he's getting stronger. Right, I think he's getting better. He's getting more confident on the ball, and he's got some unique skills. Right, as far as his hold up play and certain other things that he can do, like bully defenders, that not a lot of strikers and number nines in Serie A can do. Right, there's probably a handful of other strikers
Yeah.
that have those kind of characteristics.
Hey, Turam had a
Um,
pretty good game too, bro. Like he was not playing around. Like he played two straight passes for DiMarco, like one before the goal where they hit the post, and then one
which was
for
ridiculous. Great save from the keeper for
yeah,
keeping that one out because I thought that was for sure a goal.
yeah, me too. It was an incredible pass by Turam, and then another really good pass for DiMarco's goal right after that. Like it was
Yep. Which
Turam
a great
Turam
finish,
put in
right?
some work.
Hit it against the ground over the keeper, hit the second post, then hit the first post and
Yeah,
went in. Great finish from Dimarco. I think Dimarco right now is kind of he's peaking.
yeah,
Has definitely been playing amazing, which is great for us because we got the Italian playoff matches for the World
yeah,
Cup coming up, and we want our players to be at the peak form, which I gotta say is not the same for Barella. I think Barella's been kind of meh the last
yeah.
couple of matches,
Then the other goal,
but
bro, Boni put the skates on. He was freaking like dribbling people like he was playing basketball. Like he's like
so
kid across
when you
over.
when you said Turam had a good game, Turam had a couple of good
Yeah,
assists, but I feel
had a
that
good
right
game.
now Turam's got to be careful because Esposito is playing awesome,
They rotate them.
Boni is playing awesome as well. It's great for Kibu and Inter to have all those options
Yeah,
up front. But that was an amazing goal by Boni as well, right? The way he just went past defenders like
there's
nothing
like four people.
and
Like
calm finish under the keeper's legs.
yeah,
And then the last goal, right, was just a tapping for Mkhitaryan, which is good to see him score a goal. Right, something we don't get to say a lot, but it kind of wrapped up with a bow. What was an amazing comeback for Inter, coming from two down to actually get the win, then finish with 6 goals on Pisa. And props to Pisa for the great start, but They kind of woke up the beast in Inter, which was good to see again.
Yeah.
I like to see that fight from them, and I think they're starting to build a little bit of confidence and hopefully can get rid of that boogeyman that's still lingering from the beatdown they had in the Champions League final.
They gotta watch out though, cause like you can't have that type of start against a big team. If you start that way against Juve, like they'll score 3 times on you like in the first 30 minutes, and then how do you get back? Cause it's not like they're gonna let you score six. You know what I mean? So I think
But I
just
feel that that's why I
tightening
give
the
props to
screws.
Kibu because he kind of noticed, like, hey, this is not it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
kind of fucked up with
yeah,
the way it started this game and who I have on the pitch. He made the quick subs, especially bringing in Dimarco, which completely changed the game. After that, you could tell that all the momentum shifted in Inter's favor.
yeah.
And Dimarco again, some great goals, assists, uh, doing everything for Inter like he's been doing in the last couple of matches for
Yeah,
them.
Dimarco is like this freaking left wing back. He's a pain in the ass because he's a really good crosser, but he can also shoot. So you gotta be careful. Like you can't give him room to cross. But if you get too close and he gets by you, then he can shoot now. So
Mm.
he's he's tough to defend, especially when the ball's coming from the opposite side. Because a lot of people lose sight of him, and he's always sneaking around the back post. Like he's always around there. So players at Inter already know if you're playing down the right side, and you get to the corner, like near the edge or the baseline, you know you could just whip that ball across. DiMarco's gonna be in there making that run. Like they almost do it without looking, man. Like
And
that's
it's and,
threat.
and it's Inter's issue right now since Dumfries has been injured, right? Because the thing is that good teams with good coaches, right, what they do is focus on essentially taking DeMarco out of the game, knowing that Inter is not going to be that much of a threat on the right side with Luis Enrique,
Yeah,
right? He's not panned out to be what we thought he would be offensively. It's the reason why they're trying to bring in Perisic, right, and some other players
yeah. I've heard they're
to make
shopping
sure.
him around, like Luis Enrique, to send him on loan
Yeah,
somewhere.
well, if they're gonna bring somebody in, right, they're probably gonna loan him out.
They say
I
Norton
would say
Coffee.
keep him. Coffee would be good. Perisic would be perfect. But I think that gives them another dimension
Yeah,
because they're so good at crossing the ball from one side to the other, especially Shalanoglu, Zielinski, Barella, right? That if you
yeah,
have two threats on each side, right, you have DeMarco or a Perisic or a Coffee, right? That's going to force the defense to not be so lopsided on DeMarco's side, right? And when you have those types of switches, it's going to create ton of more
yeah,
opportunities. And with the strikers that Inter have, right, not only skillful but big and tall and good uh, uh, with headers in the box, right? They have a lot of different options and threats going forward.
yeah. Let's see. There's like 2 days left in the market. I think like 2 or 3. So basically, if it doesn't happen between now and Sunday, it's not happening. I've heard that Norton Coffee has a 20 million euro price tag right now. That's what they want for him. He's a very promising prospect, very good player on the right side.
22 years old as
Yeah,
well,
yeah, that's what I
right?
mean. And
So
very physical and like strong, fast player. He could take people on. Like
I
Juve are
think
looking at him too, but I think we don't have money, so whoever wants
I
him,
think it depends, right? Because I know that PSV are being reluctant in letting Perisic go. Perisic would be the
yeah,
perfect fit, right? Because he's played Serie
yeah.
A before, he's
But he's
played
a
at Inter
short-term
before.
investment because
Yeah,
Perisic is on
exactly,
the
right.
on the older
Perisic is gonna
side
be, hey, we're going to win,
right
try to
now.
win everything now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Kofi is for the future,
yeah,
somebody that you can build up along with Esposito, right, and
yeah,
some of your other younger players. I know that they're gonna bring Stankovic back as well next season from
yeah,
Bruga. So which he's been playing awesome, and that team has been playing awesome. So I think that's where you kind of start developing that core for the future, while still having the likes of Nicolo Barella, Di
right,
Marco, and Bastoni be the leaders of that team as Lautaro continues to get older. Because as long as Lautaro's there, he's always going to be the captain.
yeah. I mean, right now, if you gotta make a decision, I think the price is gonna have a lot to do with it. But Perisic not only he's already played there. He knows the environment. He knows the requirements. He knows what the feel of the city is. There's not gonna be a period of having to get used to
Adjustment.
it.
Yeah,
No
there's no
adjustment. He's
adjustment
just
period.
coming back home. And the other thing is, he can play more positions than Norton Coffee can because he
Yep.
could play
The right, the
offensively. He
left.
could play on the left side. You know, he could be even a media, like a, ¿cómo se llama? A media punta, I say in Spanish, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like a second striker or like, you know,
Yep. Like a false nine.
yeah, that type of player
Yep.
because he's very versatile.
Yeah,
So
he's a versatile player.
it
He's not
depends.
he's no McKenny, but he's a versatile player
Yeah,
up
he
front
is. He is.
for
He
sure.
is. He is. Well, we're gonna
Then
talk about Como.
moving forward to the next beatdown of
Yeah,
this match day weekend, we had Como and Torino,
another tennis match.
6-0. Yeah,
Jeez,
another
bro.
tennis match, six
Six
nothing
love, I think
beat
they
down
say.
on Torino.
Yeah.
Como has been playing great, right? As of late, again, they had a kind of a couple of speed bumps
Yeah.
a couple of match days ago, but are back to their winning ways and not and winning with emphatic wins.
Yeah, that
Right,
was
we had Dubicas
very
twice
emphatic.
on the board, Baturina scoring, Dacuña scoring a pen, Kuhn, Caqueret. It's always different players, right? So they're finding threats, right, and getting goals from different positions from different players. Or being able to rest some of their key players as well, like Nico Paz, which is crazy for a team like Como,
Yeah.
and still getting these types of results.
Yeah, but Torino have been doing better. Like this was very surprising to me. Like they had been doing a lot better. They were playing, you know, tit for tat with some other team from even some of the bigger teams sometimes. And then Como just walks in and like it's like sometimes it's a matter of styles, right? Like where the way that a team plays matches up versus the way you play. And like sometimes a stronger team, the way they play matches up better with your style of play than somebody like Como or Torino. And then you underestimate Como, and then they come and they score six on you. Uh,
But Torino was all over the place
yeah.
defensively. I don't know what even I don't even know what formation they were playing. Other like maybe the Swiss cheese formation, because it was so
The
easy for
Colander.
Como to get past those defenders and find space. It just seemed like in the back line there was so much space for a team like
Yeah.
Como, who are great at passing the ball in short passes, right, and
But
building up
also
play.
like a lot of shots from outside the box, like from right in the middle. Like so, like some of the goals are just like Como would just run straight down the middle, like of the pitch, and just shoot as soon as they get near the goal, and it's like nobody's stopping them. Like what was Torino was just, I don't know. It was insane, man. Torino, I don't know what they were
Uh,
doing.
Seeing that the Torino players facing the ultras at the end of the
Sorry.
match, situation that you don't want to see players in, but getting
Yeah,
your
man.
ass whooped like that by a team like Como, right? Who've been playing great, but I was not expecting a 6-0 defeat for Torino. Like you said, they haven't been playing bad. They've been playing a little bit better lately.
Yeah,
So definitely very, very surprising for them. And again, for Como, the fact that they were able to rest some of their players, important players like Nico Paz, right? For a game like this, even though he was subbed in, didn't play the entire game, but give him a little bit of rest, right? The just shows that, hey, they're not only a threat for those European positions, but they have a little bit of depth where they can actually be dangerous and be maybe sneak into those kind of top three spots if some of the teams at the top of the table are not careful.
yeah, because they can consistently beat the smaller teams, and in a lot of ways, winning the Serie A is about consistently beating the smaller teams, because you know you can lose points against the top level teams, but if you can consistently beat the smaller teams, and then the other larger teams can't beat the smaller teams consistently, like Juve has been doing. They've been having problems with that, right? It doesn't matter if they beat the big teams because if they lose points against a smaller team, it almost nullifies what they've done. So I think one thing that Inter has done and that Como is also doing is beating the smaller teams consistently.
Which is important, right?
Yeah.
That's why when any of these big teams drop what should be easy points, and you have such a competitive table up top with a lot of different teams that are contenders this season, it's
Yeah.
it's tough.
Yeah. But I mean, Inter's
Then
offense has been just an anomaly this season. Like for the Serie A, like the amount of goals that they've scored. They have way more goals than like
Because we have
the
strikers that more
second
than
team.
likely, like Boni and Esposito, would start in a lot of other clubs
Yeah, that's true,
in
bro. But
Serie
I
A.
think honestly, like the quality of the strikers, if you look at the actual strikers, like you probably have the best strike force, like in the entire Serie A. And then Napoli has Lukaku, right? But there's not a lot of Serie A teams that have really good strikers. You know what I mean? Like Juve has average. They don't have like a good number nine, like a
Juve
solid.
on paper, and
No, no,
honestly, I
no, because
thought
they don't have
coming
like a
into the
striker
season that
striker.
they,
They have a
yeah,
lot of these, wingers that are offensive, like Conceição, Yildiz. These are
yep,
not like strikers. They play
traditional number
facing.
nines,
Yeah, they
which
play
we have
facing the goal.
essentially four of them,
Right.
because all four are physical, are skilled,
Right. Lautaro
like
could play number
yeah,
9. Turan could play number 9. Boni could play number 9. Although he is more of a like going forward type guy. But
but
Esposito
he's
could play number
big,
9.
he's
But he's big and
tall,
strong. But that's
yeah.
what I mean, right? Like I don't see any other team in the Serie A that has that type of strike force. So it's not surprising that you guys got 15 goals more, or like actually 13 goals more than the next team. Uh, you know.
Which is who, Como right now
No,
with 6 goals.
yeah, it is. Is it Como? Yeah, Como.
Yeah,
You got 13
ah,
more goals than Como.
the dark horse, brother.
Yeah,
Props to Fabregas. But yeah, Como doing great. One of my favorite teams in Serie A to see. So
hmm
glad to see them perform well. Then we had Cagliari Fiorentina. Fiorentina, who looked at that they were kind of turning the corner, have another slip up
what's
against Cagliari.
happening, bro? That's
Uh,
crazy.
it's got to be something in the water over there. Not sure. We thought that they were turning things around, but starting the game up, going down 2-0 with Cagliari, and Cagliari has been playing well, but it wasn't these amazing goals that Cagliari scored on Fiorentina.
Yeah, one was a deflection. I mean, he headed it towards the
Yeah, the first,
goal, but then it hit the defender and it went in. So it wasn't like a direct shot, but
and then
it
Palestra's
looked
goal
like it
was
was
good.
going in too. But maybe the keeper had a chance.
Which Palestra is a player that a lot of the big clubs in Italy are keeping tabs on, and a
That's
lot
true.
of them have on their radar.
Yeah,
And he's showing why. Had another solid performance for Cagliari today. Again, a team that's been playing better. And then Brescianini on the 74th minute got one on the board for Fiorentina from a cross into the box,
yeah,
but still a little bit too late. Cagliari ended up getting the 2-1 victory and the 3 points against Fiorentina.
yeah. I feel for Fiorentina because every time they feel like they're picking themselves back up, somebody smacks them right down back into the relegation zone, man. That's
But
rough.
I think they'll pull through, right? I think they'll eventually pull through and remain in Serie A. I think as far as qualifying for any other type of competition, those dreams have long gone.
Yeah,
But I think at the end of the day, they will stay in the Serie A.
hopefully. But I'm gonna talk about one episode that just shows the just lack of concentration that these Fiorentina players have. When they scored and they were 2-0 down, and when they scored, the goal scorer Brescianini he celebrated. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Like you more like get the ball, you idiot. You're
Exactly.
losing.
If you grab the ball and are sprinting towards the halfway line and give like a fuck yeah, let's
Right.
go to the fans, I'm good with it. But if you just like go to
He's
celebrate,
like,
like grab the
yeah, I
ball,
scored. I'm like, you're losing. What the
like
fuck are you
yeah,
celebrating for, you idiot?
in against Cagliari, a
Oh
team
my
that you were
god, bro.
probably the favorite to win against.
Exactly. Somebody in their right mindset playing for Fiorentina with their head saying this is a traditional Italian club and we're embarrassing their fans. I would just play with my head down. Like I would have scored and I would have put my head down. I would have grabbed the ball and I would have been like ashamed. We're still losing. Like what the hell are you celebrating? It's like it's crazy. Like it's like when you play Rush in FC 26 and you're losing 6-1 and you score and the player celebrates like you just won the World
Yeah,
Cup. Like, what the fuck are you celebrating? Like these people who make these games, they need to change that because that's so fucking dumb.
yeah, that's not realistic. But then you go and see players like this do it in real life, and
I think they learn from the game and, and they bring that shit to the. All these kids are playing FC, man.
tough luck for Fiorentina, dropping more points
It's
in
terrible.
probably one of their worst Serie A seasons in history.
Probably.
Good for Cagliari for getting 3 more points. They've been playing well the last couple of match days. After this one, we had Lecce Lazio,
What is
which
Sarri doing, man? Bro.
ironically both teams start with an L, and both teams took an L with a 0-0 draw.
That was boring.
Snooze fest, and Lazio and Sarri again struggling. Can't seem to get it together this season.
No
And actually, there were
consistency. They just can't get
so, some
consistency.
some opportunities created by both teams, but I think the closer ones were actually more on Lecce's side.
Yeah, they hit the
The struck
crossbar like with an amazing shot. The keeper
so
was lucky that didn't bounce inside.
so 14 shots, 12 shots versus 4 for Lazio against Lecce. You got 4 shots off against Lecce, only one on goal.
Yeah, bro,
That is
that's not.
unacceptable
Yeah,
for a club like Lazio.
100%.
Sarri, again, I know we haven't we started in earlier in the season having a lot of conversations around the hot seat. I don't think he's in the hot seat, but he's the closest manager to actually getting put on the hot seat right now.
I think so. Yeah, I agree. I don't think Torino's gonna change again. Otherwise, that guy could also Banoli could be a little bit in danger. But because it doesn't seem like he's turning the ship around. They're like 6 points away from the relegation zone now, Torino. You know, they only have 6 more points than Fiorentina. So not a good
That's
look.
crazy.
Not a good look.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Then we had a battle of the recently promoted
Oh yeah.
squads, Cremonese and Sassuolo. Right, Cremonese been playing solid. I think have been a little bit more consistent than Sassuolo,
Yeah.
especially lately. Right, Sassuolo dropping a lot of points in the last couple of matches. But two squads that definitely have been, at least for me, have been doing better than what I expected from them this season, especially again in a very loaded and competitive Serie A.
Yeah.
Good to see Sassuolo kind of finally turn things around. Right, Fadera scored very early in the match in the 3rd minute.
Yep.
The only goal in the match, and ended up in a 1-0 victory for Sassuolo. Very contested matchup, which we would expect, right? Two teams that have played before, right? Getting promoted into Serie A. Probably a little bit of rivalry, right?
Yeah, he was pretty tight.
Wanting to prove,
Yeah.
yeah, but wanting to prove, right? Oh, hey, we're the better team, right? Of the teams that just recently got promoted, right? We belong.
Yeah.
You don't belong.
Yeah.
But props to Sassuolo. I actually thought that this one Cremonese was in better form and probably gonna get the 3 points
They had a
on this
clear
one.
chance for like just a striker. The keeper kept it out with his leg, but bro, like he hit the balls terribly, like the strike for Cremonese, like right in front of the keeper, in the first half. But so I think none of these teams have won since like December, so any victory is a welcome victory. And I feel Sassuolo in the end like will feel happy that they won because I agree with you. I think Cremonese was they were looking a little bit more dangerous for most of the game. Or at least that was the impression I got.
It was kind of very even on the stat line,
Yeah.
right? Very as far as shots on target or shots on goal and possession. Very competitive matchup, which I expected, but again, I was a little bit surprised that Sassuolo were able to get walk away with the victory, given that Cremonese have been playing better.
Yeah.
And speaking of teams that have been playing better, Atalanta played against Parma and walked away with a 4-0 victory.
That was a
Atalanta,
ass whooping.
very slow start to the Serie A season, right? But they're starting to get it together. We talked about how since the new manager came on board, right, some of the players like Scamacca have been kind of reborn.
Yeah.
We're getting to see some of the new additions like Raspadori getting on the pitch, Saliuski coming back from injury, right, who's been playing well. I think probably one of the most, if not the most important player for Atalanta since he came back from injury. Actually, creates the first goal for Scamacca. He's fouled in the box, and gives Atalanta a pen, which Scamacca easily puts away.
Yeah, even though
But getting
the keeper guessed it and it still went in because he just hit a rocket.
Now you know that those are the types of shots that it's so perfectly placed and at that pace that
You can't get to it.
unless you're savage, you're not gonna
Yeah,
get
or
like
like Spider Man.
or Courtois or a keeper of that caliber and that big. You're probably not gonna get anywhere near the ball.
Yeah,
But Scamacca again, one of those players that have been playing a lot better, which is good, especially in the Italian team because we need everybody at that position specifically to be on point. Then Derun had a very nice strike and
that was a
goal on
rocket.
the 24th minute. The captain releasing the Kraken
Yeah,
from a little bit inside the box, but nothing for the goalkeeper to do on that one. Placed it beautifully, top bins. And Atalanta created so many opportunities
yeah,
in
man, they
this
could have
match.
scored
They
like
definitely,
six.
definitely could have scored a ton of more goals, missing some key players as well, right? But it's what I expected from Atalanta at the beginning of the season with the so many skillful players that they have in different positions and how they tend to use them, and how they tend to play with each other. Same with Raspadori, similar to Raspadori, that can play a couple of different positions, right,
That was a
offensively.
great pickup.
Uh,
That was a great pick. He already paying
for
off.
for Atalanta, for sure. Granted, he had kind of like a tapping for his first goal in Atalanta, but
Yeah, but he had an
he
assist on the
doesn't
third
care.
goal too. Like he had a
True.
great assist. Like he beat two players for that ball and crossed it in, and he just left the player by himself. He basically made that goal. So he's been contributing already. Like he's making an impact.
Well, right, we talked about it with Perisic before. Raspadori is a player that obviously came, spent a had a very short stint right in Madrid with Atletico. Came back to the Serie A, very familiar right with life in Italy, very familiar in playing with
Exactly.
Serie A, the players, right, the style of play. So not surprising that he's already being producing for the squad. But it's going to be interesting to see right how that pans out moving
They're
forward.
gonna
They
sell
also have
Lookman, if
Lukman.
you ask me. I think if
Well,
Raspadori came in, I think it's because they already have somebody's gonna buy Lookman. It's gotta be.
they got a lot of options, and Sulemana, right, who got off
Yeah.
to an amazing start, and lately
He hasn't
it's
even played
been
almost.
he's been kind of a ghost. He's
Yeah.
not even getting any playing time.
He's not
I
getting
think
playing
that's
time.
part of when the new manager came on board, but
Yeah.
he started off really well this season, and we haven't seen a lot from them.
Yeah.
But great victory for Atalanta, right? Expected victory against Parma, but
Yeah.
was not expecting a 4-0 kind of domination, 22 shots, 8 on
Yeah.
goal. That's
Atalanta
super
also
lopsided.
Atalanta's also the only team that actually did anything in the market so far with Raspadori's acquisition. I would say like the
No,
most impactful
Milan,
signing.
Milan with full
Uh,
crew. I think that was a very nice pickup.
yeah, yeah, that's true.
You have Roma signed Malin, right? Another nice pickup as well.
Yeah, and
Not what
already
they
paying
needed.
off as well, but he's paying off.
Yeah, but not what they needed, right? Because we
Yeah,
know that Roma need a number nine. I think Milan did add definitely with full crew because
yeah, that's
he
a
is
striker.
a traditional number nine that they do not have, right? And gives players like Rabiot in the form that he's in
Yeah,
and Modric another target, kind of different target options in the box because that's now the type of player that Leao is. He's a winger.
yeah.
He's not that good in the air. Same with Pulisic. He's not tall. He's not strong. He's not gonna be bullying
He can't be
defenders like
playing number nine.
Lukaku
Yeah,
and Esposito, right?
exactly.
Somebody that is big that can actually go toe to toe with some of the big defenders in the Serie A.
Yeah, because you face Baskirotto and he freaking just muscle you out of the box, bro. Like that guy is like two biceps in a uniform, you know.
Yeah,
So
there's some big, definitely some big strikers in the Serie A, right? Even Davis from Udinese, but Milan was lacking that type of player, so they got
yeah,
that player and ex hockey player. I'm joking. I'm just talking about his teeth because he is missing a couple of teeth.
yeah.
But a good pickup
Very good
for Milan
pickup.
for sure.
Very good pickup.
And then we had one of what's becoming one of my favorite teams to watch in the Serie A. We had Genoa playing against Bologna, a struggling Bologna. That's another team that I'm not sure what the hell's going on
Yeah,
there.
what's
But
going on
Genoa,
there, man?
since De Rossi took charge of Genoa, it's a completely different team, completely
Yeah,
different attitude,
doing a
and you
lot
can
better.
see it in the results that they're getting. Right, they went toe to toe against Milan, who are contender for the title this season. Now getting a victory, granted against a solid team in Bologna, but have not been playing well and dropping a lot of points
Yeah,
lately, but managing to get the win.
that's
Again, because
Bologna's eighth loss of the season. They now have 8 wins and 8 losses. So they've won as many games as they lost, and they're still eighth. That's crazy.
but it's a very contested table,
Yeah, very
and
contested.
that's when you were saying you can't afford to drop points against teams that you should be beating.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you're not gonna have a shot.
Yeah, like just Juve shot themselves in the foot with that loss that they had. Otherwise, they'd be a little bit closer. 45 points, just 7 off of the title contention. It'd be a way better situation than 10 points off. You know, with like
And
16 games remaining.
and I think this one, first of all, it was very entertaining to watch live. This match, Bologna got off to a good start, actually being up 2-0. Then a dumb mistake by their keeper, who had just recently returned. I think this was his first match back. Comes out, completely tackles a Genoa player, like 30 meters away from even like the edge of the box.
Yeah, what the hell was that, dude?
Maybe showing some rust and some rustiness there in his first match back. But I think that's what really turned this game around after that point. Genoa, first and foremost, after that foul, uh, props for the amazing free kick, probably the best free kick that I've seen in Serie A this season from Malinowski. Just a freaking rocket and bent right under the post on the far side of the keeper.
Bro, that guy's a
Very great
monster.
goal.
And also, you skip
Very great goal.
Bologna's first goal was also like a rocket, like from like um where he scored from. He's like outside the box, right? Like where was he actually standing when he shot? Outside the box. It was just like a freaking low rocket to the bottom left corner of the net. Pretty
Yeah, no,
impressive.
but it was a movie, dude. Not only Marinovsky's goal, but then Ekuban's goal, right? This like a psychic karate chop to the second post to beat the keeper. That was an amazing goal as well. It felt kind of like you were watching a movie, right? The How hyped the crowd was in that stadium.
Yeah.
It was amazing to seeing De Rossi celebrating on the sideline and having his team pull off this comeback. Granted, against Bologna, there was one man down, but still three amazing goals. Because then Junior Messias stepped up and scored another great goal, a curve to the second post to wrap things up and give Genoa the win. But I think the grit that they're showing right now under De Rossi, or since De Rossi took over, uh, just makes this team a very interesting and fun team to watch play.
Yeah. Talk about taking advantage of a one man advantage, right? Like that's what you're supposed to do when you go one man up. You know, you take care of
Yeah,
business. That's what Bologna did. They're like, we can totally win this. And like honestly, those 2 goals by Malinowski and Messias is just pure beauty. Also,
yeah.
that freaking
Like the Ekuban
yeah,
goal was pretty
that
good as
was
well.
insane, bro. Like it's just 3 amazing goals. If you want to see great goals, watch these highlights. This was probably the best goals of the
Yeah.
match day.
And honestly, aside from the next match, which was Juve Napoli, I would say that this was one of the most entertaining matches. Granted, the Inter match was the good as
Yeah,
well, but I think Inter was the first half. Right
yeah.
after the first half, we all knew how the movie ended,
I
was
think
gonna end. But
I
this
think
one
Bologna
was very
Genoa was
entertaining.
better than Juve Napoli because Napoli didn't do shit in that Juve game.
Yeah,
Napoli was
pretty
completely
pretty pathetic, right? 3-0 victory for Juve in a very important match,
yeah.
right? For both teams. Very, I feel in this one you could see kind of the difference in quality on the pitch and some of the players that Napoli were missing, right? That may fly against some other teams, but against a team like Juve. and the way that Juve have been playing,
Yeah.
they really struggled to produce really anything. I can't remember a whole lot positive to take away for Napoli from this match.
They got lucky a couple times. Like Bongiorno saved the ball off the line. Turam hit the crossbar. Like this could have been five easy. You know what I mean? That Juve could have scored here. Um, Napoli, I don't remember. Di Gregorio made, I think, one save at the beginning of the second half, and I don't remember any other time he was even involved in this match. It was just like it was just complete domination from Juve in this game. I think this is the formation that Spalletti needs to play all the time if he wants to win, right? Cope Miners doesn't need to play. He can watch the game from the bench. Like we don't need him on the pitch. This was obvious. So this is the formation 4-4-2 or sorry, 4 what is he playing now? 4-2-3-1. 4-2-3-1. That's what we want to do. 4-2-3-1. He puts in Kostic. Where does he put him? On the right side. And he cuts inside and shoots with the left and beats the keeper. That's see Spalletti is a coach that knows what he's doing. At least,
Hey,
right?
props to Locatelli. That was a beautiful flick
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
pass, lob assist, right
Very
for
good
Jonathan
game.
David
Yeah, very good
for
game
that
by
goal.
Locatelli.
Definitely could have been a lot more goals
Yeah.
on this one, right? Conceição missed the sitter. Well, he didn't miss, right? Bongiorno
Bongiorno saved it.
saved it,
Yeah,
right, and booted it out of the from the line.
yeah,
But that was a sitter, right? Conceição should have definitely scored that one. But
yeah.
so many different opportunities created for you in this match. It definitely could have been six or seven.
Yeah, and I think like you can tell the difference also in like in the mentality. I feel Napoli was almost like playing like a defeated team. Like I felt like they were almost playing like we know we're missing parts, and we don't have the quality to compete here. And you were basically just like going after every loose ball. And I think that Spalletti's made a big difference in terms of Locatelli, and I feel Locatelli's playing a lot better now because Spalletti's limiting his role. So he's not he instead of having him do more, which is what other managers wanted him to do, he's being very basic with him, and he's like, listen, sit in front of the defense, right, and just play passes. Like, don't try to go running all over the place and whatnot. Like, this is where you're gonna play. This is what you're gonna do. Let Turam and McKenny and everybody, Miretti, just run around the offensive part of the pitch, and you just like be our kind of like reference point. And I think since Locatelli started playing like that, where he's like not trying to be like the focal point of the attacking move, like I think he's the most
Which he doesn't need to be because I feel Turam probably was the best player in this match, and it's probably been U.S. best player. Well, aside from Yildiz,
McKenny. I think McKenny's been US
well, McKenny as well. But I think for
consistently the difference
and
maker.
McKenny's adding a lot offensively as well,
He's
right?
the difference
He's
maker.
scoring goal, assisting. But
Yeah,
in this game, I think Turam also had a huge game on this one.
yeah.
Nice goal for Yildiz on the second one.
Also,
Very easy, kind of confident striker finish,
yep.
right, to put it past the keeper. And then Kostic with a great goal from outside the box, which I
That
thought
kid
was
is
the best
special.
goal
I mean,
in the match, right? The first goal was pretty good, but it was more the pass from Locatelli,
yeah, and
right,
it was just
that made it.
David with his strength just
Yeah,
held the defender off, like, cause he,
easy
you know,
kind of
good finish too.
job for David to bring the ball down and put it in the back of the net. But I think that third goal from Kostic
That's a nice shot.
was a very good goal, right near the post. Nothing for the goalkeeper to do on that one. Interesting for this one, right? You have Spalletti playing against Napoli, right? Being the former
Former
coach and
manager.
taking winning the Scudetto with Napoli,
He's got
right?
a Napoli
Before.
tattoo on his arm, like he does.
Oh, that's crazy! I didn't know that.
Yeah, he does. He has Napoli
And then you
tattoo
have
like on his arm.
Conte, right? Or obviously,
Who used to be
right, was
Juve.
part of the U.S. domination during the '90s. Right, a big part of Juve and how they
Yeah.
dominated for pretty much a decade. So interesting, right? Because it's two teams that know the clubs fairly well, right? Two managers that know each other fairly well. I think just Conte did not have the tools at his disposal to really counter anything that Juventus was doing
Yeah,
versus Juventus that came in better form with a lot more weapons, a lot more options, with players playing well.
yeah.
Plus, having more options off the bench, I think it was a tall order and ask for Conte to try to get something out of this matchup, especially with kind of the emotion and the mentality that Juve brought into this
Yeah,
match.
and is that midfield like the midfield completely destroyed Napoli's midfield? So Locatelli, Turam, Miretti, and McKennie were just devastating.
And Miretti, who
You
has
know,
is now has become a solid part of the starting 11. What is it now? Like the last four matches he started for Juve.
yeah, I mean, he didn't start in the Champions League, but yeah, in the league he has started, and he's been playing really well. And he's a very good player in terms of creativity, and he has some quality to the last pass, which is something that we had been missing. So initially we were missing like the connective tissue between the different lines and the different attacking phases, and so McKennie has become the connective tissue, and then Miretti has kind of become like that refined the last pass that we were missing as well. Like the guy that can fake a shot and then find a man that's by himself,
Mm-hmm.
or take it himself and actually shoot and score. So like he could do both because Miretti's more like a kind of like a offensive, creative midfielder, right? And that's I think the biggest difference is the formation and the way that he's been limiting Locatelli's role. And if you have to do less and you can focus on doing just that, then you can be really good at what you're focusing on. And I think that makes a
Yeah.
big difference.
Be a master of one trade instead of a jack of all, which I think, except your McKinney,
Exactly. If you're McKenna, you can
because
just
he's
do
actually
everything.
could be effective at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's interesting, the Miretti piece, right? And props to Spalletti, right? Because they have a ton of what you would think are way better and skillful players than Miretti. But sometimes it's not about the best player; it's about the player that fits with the other players on the pitch the most. And I think Miretti has shown in the last 4 or 5 matches for Juve that he can be that he can play that type of role, right? Which makes them a lot better.
Yeah, exactly. It just adds quality to the entire offensive maneuver.
So go again, and much appreciated, right? Because in a matchup, and we'll talk about the next one with which was Roma Milan. But given that Roma Milan ended up in a 1-1 draw, right? This was a awesome match day for not only Juve,
But Inter,
which
yeah.
they got the victory over Napoli. Obviously, Napoli dropping 3 points, moving Juve moving closer to that top of the table, but also for Inter getting the win against Pisa, and with Napoli, Milan, and Roma all dropping points, right? Just getting a little bit more distance at the top of the table as well. Roma Milan, I think it was the contested game and match that I was expecting.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of goals, right? Especially with Roma. We know that Roma don't score a lot of goals. We know that Roma has one of the better defenses in Serie
Yeah.
A right now.
And Milan also
So
has one
one,
of the best defenses in Serie A, so it's gonna be like a
yep.
contested type of match.
So not a surprising result, right? And for us, the Interista, the best result and the best thing that could have happened, which is both teams dropping some points on this one. We talked about how Roma, right? There's not hasn't been a whole lot going on in the market. We've talked a lot about how Roma really need a number 9. They brought in Malin, which is gonna definitely help and has already been producing for the squad. But again, missing that number 9 up front, struggling to score goals. Had a ton of opportunities in this match to do so, where I feel if they would have that type of player, they probably could have gotten a different result out of this one.
Yeah. Good goal by Coney the Winter right there, getting up in the middle of the box and heading it down for Milan. I think that's an underrated player. He came from U.S. Youth Academy, and U.S. sold him, and now it ends up at Milan. Well, Allegri knows him already, right? Because he had him in the youth team, and he had him a couple practices with the first squad. But I think he's a quality prospect. He's probably gonna be leaving the Serie A in like a year and a
I
half
don't know,
because
dude. You want to talk about Napoli, like prospects and surprises for me, dude? We gotta mention Bertesaghi, dude.
yeah,
For
he's
me, I
decent.
was not expecting him to be that type of player. He's already solidified his spot in the starting 11 for Milan, where we had Estupinian, who
Yeah.
started in that role to begin and actually started playing well, but then missed some times, missed a couple of matches, and in that time, Bartesaghi has able to win Allegri's confidence and really secure himself a starting position with this solid Milan squad.
Yeah. And on the other
Um,
side, Pisilli is also looking to be a very good prospect for Italian football. I hope he gets the chances to develop to his full potential.
yeah, unfortunate, right, that they're not strikers because I feel that's where we really need the help as far as the Italian national squad. But it's good to see some great, amazing young talent. But like we were saying at the beginning of the pod, right, we hope that they stay in Serie A, that they get the opportunity to continue to develop right into actually world class strikers, which is what we have been really lacking for over a decade in the national team.
Facts.
But
Hellas
very
Verona,
good, very good goal by Inter.
nobody's more Verona than Hellas Verona. You know that. Nobody's more
Hell,
Verona.
Hellas,
Hellas Verona.
Hellas Verona dropping some points against Udinese.
No.
We talked about. Is it really a surprise?
Come
Does
on,
it really
Verona.
surprise you?
You're dropping hella
Uh,
points.
yeah, they are dropping hella points, and not surprisingly, dropped 3 points against Udinese, a very physical Udinese squad who's been very up and down
Yeah.
this season.
So with Keenan
Right, I
Davis.
that's a striker where I feel he has all the kind of qualities, right? I just think he needs to develop, but I think
Yeah.
if he does continue to get better, he may be a problem because he's super athletic, he's fast, he's strong and tall. He could be a handful for some defensive lines in the Serie A for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I,
100%.
I just think he's not that consistent, right? He's not that sharp with his finishing. But I think that that's going to continue to get better. I think Ata for Udinese has been probably again another surprising player
Very
for
good
me
player.
at least this season. Has been playing awesome. Someone I know that Inter and probably a couple of other top Serie A clubs are keeping
Yeah.
a close eye on.
Speaking of
Uh,
that, Gift
and wouldn't mind bringing
Orban.
in
Gift Orban is another good name that a lot of
the
teams are
gift
looking at
the
now.
gift that keeps on giving for
Yeah.
Hellas Verona. Unfortunately for them, it's the only gift that they usually get because it's
True.
that one player where that you see and it's like you should be at a better team, dude. Like I feel kind of
I
sorry
know,
for you
right?
right now
I know. I
because he's
know.
been playing amazing and in a team that's struggling, but he always seems to find a way to score goals. So something very impressive to put on your resume. Someone that I doubt will be at the club for long, which is
Yeah.
not good news for Verona, given all the drops, all the points that they've been dropping and how they've been performing so far in the Serie A season.
Yeah. That was a beautiful outside of the foot shot also from for Verona's third goal. Pretty friggin' amazing. Sorry, for Udinese's second goal, I
Who
meant. For Udinese's second goal, yeah.
who scored the second goal for Udinese? I don't remember.
It was.
Is it
I'm gonna look it up now because I
Zanoli?
don't remember. Somebody hit it
Zanoli.
like from the edge of the box. It was
Yeah,
just beautiful goal.
Zanoli scored the second,
Yeah, 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 yeah. That
and
guy.
the third goal was with a very nice finish as well.
Yeah,
Right,
true.
that
But Zanoli's was
that
just
finish from
like
Davis.
sick.
If he could do that more often, he's gonna be a problem in the
Yeah.
Serie A
Yep.
because he has again. I think he has that type of quality. He has that type of like a hybrid between kind of Boni and Turam, that kind of build. Um, if he improves, he could definitely be a threat. But that wraps it up for match day 22 in
That's
the
right.
Serie A. Obviously, a bit of a shakeup at the top of the table with some key teams, right, dropping some points, favoring obviously Juve and Inter. Inter remaining not first, but also with 5 points on Milan and the rest of the group. And Juve getting very close to Napoli, 1 point under Napoli and Milan to potentially grab that third spot on the table, moving forward and maybe moving into next match day. Milan stay at 47 points, solid for now in that second position, more than a game on Roma, Napoli, and Juventus. But again, shaping up to be what we expected it at the beginning. I still feel confident in my prediction at the beginning of the season. Inter, Juve, Napoli, Milan, and Como fifth place. So for that to happen, Roma unfortunately is coming in sixth. But based on how things are going, I'm not that far off.
That yeah, that's true. But I hope you're right about UF finishing second. That would be great. But
Um,
I
they're
don't
getting
know.
it together. They're
Yeah,
getting it together.
yeah, that's true. Little by little. So next match day, we're gonna have a couple of very interesting games. Genoa, who's been playing really well under De Rossi, are gonna play Lazio, who's playing really terribly under Sarri lately. So that's gonna be an interesting matchup because Sarri can afford to lose, and Genoa doesn't seem to want to lose anymore. And then
Yeah,
we'll have
I'm a Genoa
Napoli.
fan, man.
Then we'll have Napoli Fiorentina, where Napoli need to pick themselves up from that ass whooping that Juve gave them, and Fiorentina lost to Cagliari, so you know they're gonna want some,
Some get
revenge or
back.
some get back
Yep.
or trying to make good on that. But the best match of the match day, if you ask me, is going to be Atalanta visiting Como.
Yeah.
That's gonna be fireworks, right? Because it's two teams that can
Either it's
score
fireworks and a ton
or
of
or
goals, or it's gonna
donuts.
be a snooze fest
Yeah,
like donuts,
they
nil
cancel
nil
each other
draw.
out. No,
Yeah,
I'm hoping it's gonna be like 4-3 for Atalanta or some shit like that. That's what I'm hoping for.
I'll give Como the edge simply by the fact that even
They're playing at
on
home
this
too.
match day, but with Atalanta winning 4-0, they had less possession, right? For a team that's accustomed to playing more counter attack, if you give the possession to a team like Como that plays that Spanish tiki taka style,
Yeah.
you're gonna regret that. Because if you let him like dictate the pace and the flow of the game, I think that's where Atalanta may struggle. But again, it could either go both ways.
Yeah.
We could either have a goal fest or a snooze fest.
Bro, the way to beat Como, if you ask me, is to be physical and dominate the midfield like Inter did. Like you have to body
Yep.
them, basically.
Yep.
You body them. If you try to go technical and try to dance with them, they're gonna outdance you every
Yep.
single time. They're better than you at dancing. So
You can't
go
out flamenco the Spanish
fucking
players of Como.
elbow them, beat them up, body them. That's how you beat
But
Spanish teams.
Does Atalanta have that kind of midfield though? That's what I'm saying.
They might have they. I don't think they have the defenders is the problem. Like they might have a couple midfielders that can scrap, but I think in the back is where they're lacking. So we'll see. If it becomes like a goal fest, the fans win. If they both lock up, then like you said, they could just cancel each other out. But honestly, if I had to bet, I would say it's gonna be a high scoring match.
No. I hope that that's not the case. That it's a snooze fest, right? Sucks that it's so early in the morning for us.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But
6 a.m. for me.
try to see it live. If not, I'll definitely see it on replay. And I think for the other teams, right, they should be the favorites. Inter versus Cremonese should be the favorite on that one.
Yeah, Juve
Juve versus
Parma,
Parma,
same.
again, should be the favorites.
Roma
Interesting to
Udinese,
see Roma Udinese because Udinese is coming from a good win, right, scoring some good goals.
right?
Roma coming from a draw, right, struggling to score goals. So that's
Yeah,
going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on. Same with Bologna Milan, right? Bologna struggling, right? Can they turn things around against Milan? Hopefully, maybe get motivated playing against one of the top teams in the Serie A and Scudetto contenders. But again, Bologna struggling off as of late, so wouldn't be surprised to see Milan walk away with all 3 points of that one. So not expecting a whole lot of changes at the top of the table for this next match day, but it's as it always happens in football and in Serie A, you never know what you're gonna get. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens throughout the weekend.
yep.
And then, real quick, before wrapping things up, I'm going to touch on Italian team's performance in the last match of the group stage of the Champions League. Again, we had three Italian clubs make it through, not directly to the round of 16. Actually, no Italian clubs made it directly to the round of 16. But we did have Atalanta, Juve, and Inter qualify for the
Qualified.
playoffs.
Napoli.
And surprise to nobody, Napoli and Conte specifically failed to qualify for even the playoffs in the Champions League, which not surprising, but unfortunate for some of the other top clubs in the Serie A because this means that Napoli now can focus more on the Serie A and the Coppa Italia, along with
Yeah,
Milan, who only have the Serie A because they're out of the Coppa Italia already.
yeah,
So it's gonna make it interesting for mainly Juve and Inter because they're the only other two contenders, right? Atalanta, I don't feel are a contender for the Scudetto this season. So it's gonna be interesting now again with Juve and Inter adding two more matches to their calendar now with the going into the playoffs for the Champions League. Same with Atalanta to see what happens with them. Where adding more matches to their schedule, but right, getting less rest than some of the other squads and contenders for the Serie A this season. But I think if you want two teams to have that issue, I think Inter and Juve are ideal because they're probably the two teams with the most depth in Serie A.
yeah.
But
I would have to say that as well. Um,
but for this one, right, unfortunately, the Juve Monaco match ended up in donuts. Uh, but I think it was good for Juve, right? Because they there was I don't know if they really have a potential to get in to the round of 16 and avoid the playoffs.
they did. The thing is, they did. But two teams had to lose, and one of them was Man City, which they didn't. So Real Madrid did end up losing, but Man
No,
City didn't. So even if
great
Juve
match
won,
with the
yeah, that
Trubekero.
was crazy. Even if Juve won, they wouldn't have gotten in. Based on what Man City did. So
Mm.
they could have maybe squeaked past. Real Madrid had like a four goal differential advantage, but if they lost, then Juve would have had. I mean, Juve could have had the edge, but
Yeah, but Madrid
Juve.
didn't make it through.
I think
Madrid is
Juve.
going to the playoffs as well.
Yeah, yeah,
It's crazy, right? These
yeah,
playoffs are crazy because you got Inter, Juve, Madrid,
yeah,
PSG.
yeah.
You got so
Barcelona.
many good clubs. Barcelona,
Yeah,
Benfica.
yeah.
It's gonna be interesting.
Gonna be very,
I
very
know
interesting.
for us, which Inter, we did play against Borussia Dortmund in the last match at San Siro.
Yeah,
Awesome free kick goal from Fede Di Marco, continuing his hot streak. And then we had a goal right at the end of the match to wrap things up. Just an individual play from Diouf. Um, just caught the defenders off guard. The ball got deflected and went in. But Dimarco's goal was a great goal. Inter really didn't do much on this matchup. But we got walked away with the win. But it was not enough. I think we ended up just shy, right? It was Real Madrid and then Inter right underneath
yeah.
the direct qualification for the round of 16. But again, a lot of great teams in the Champions League this season. A lot of teams that are surprising. Again, a loaded playoff with the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona, Juve, Inter, PSG. It's
Yeah,
crazy. I know that Inter will play either Benfica or Godo or Bodo Glint,
yeah.
which we actually played already. So that's why I'm leaning a little bit more towards it's probably going to be Benfica, which sucks because we're going to get the special ones returned to San Siro. And
He's a
that's where
tricky customer.
I'm a little bit concerned because obviously I feel Inter have the better team. I saw Benfica play against Juve and how Juve dominated them. So I would definitely feel that Inter have the better squad,
Yeah,
but
but
when it
then they
comes to
beat
the
Real,
manager,
bro. Like then they come back and
when it
beat
comes
Real
to the
Madrid.
manager and playing mind games, like edge to Benfica and
Yeah.
the special one in Mourinho on that one. But who does Juventus have to play in the playoffs? What are the options? Do you know?
No, I don't know. I think they did mention it in an article and I read it, but I don't remember um who they would face. I don't think it's anybody too difficult. Let me
It's
check.
got to be either one or two clubs.
Yeah,
That's
it's
it.
gonna be either Club Brugge or Galatasaray. So I think Juve could pull it off.
That's oof, those are
Bruges
two
is a
interesting
difficult
matchups.
team because they
Those
score a
are
lot
two
of
interesting
goals.
matchups.
I hope it's
And
Galatasaray to
Galatasaray,
be
you
honest.
can't sleep on them, right? With
Nah, but
Osimhen,
we're
they
better
have some
than
good
them.
players.
We're better than them. Like we'll beat
We're better
Galatasaray.
than both clubs,
Yeah,
but I feel
I think
probably
Bruges
Juve
is
is
trickier.
yeah, yeah.
I think they're gonna be trickier because they score.
Yeah, but
Galatasaray is more like a
maybe
defensive team.
USC the black and blue when they play them and get motivated, think they're Inter. See the
Yeah, as long as they don't think it's
Stankovic song.
Atalanta, I just hope they think it's Inter.
But right, glad to see three of the four Italian teams make it through to the playoffs. Even
Yeah,
if it's the playoffs, right, I feel confident. Um, at least for Juve and Inter with the matchups that they will potentially get, that they can go through to the round of 16. Atalanta beat who did they beat? Atalanta played
no, they
this
lost
afternoon.
actually against Union Saint
Mm,
Gilloise.
which was crazy, unexpected, 1-0 defeat. And the most surprising one was Napoli, right? Because they were ahead, right, 2-1. And then, granted, beautiful goal from Joao Pedro to tie it up. And then another good goal from Joao Pedro to give them Chelsea the 3-2 lead to
Literally
wrap it
knocked them
up
out, man.
for Napoli and kick them back to Italy in crushing yet another hopeful Conte run in the Champions League, which again Conte,
That's
the
just not his.
Ibrahimovic
He's
of the
that's
Champions League.
not his competition, man. Let's just get it. You
Yeah,
know, like I've seen
listen,
it said.
he's gonna win the league, but he's not gonna win the Champions League.
Yeah, I think I saw it was like Romeo Agresti, like on his podcast, that was basically saying Conte, is a guy that you bring in, and he's gonna win the championship. But no, it wasn't Agresti. It was actually I think Grella in the CBS Golazo, whatever, network, and he was saying that Conte is a guy that if you want to win the domestic title, you bring him in. He's gonna get that for you. But forget about European football, and you gotta know that. You just gotta know you're not gonna get anywhere in Europe. You're gonna qualify for Europe, but then when you play in Europe, you're not gonna do anything because he's just not like a Champions League manager.
But what is it, right? Because we've seen Conte have success, obviously in Serie A at different clubs. We've seen him have some success in other leagues. So, what about the Champions League? Do you think that he struggles with?
It's an immediate competition. So Conte is the type of manager that wins by how do you call that, by adding points, right? Like throughout a long season, he knows how to get a lot out of his players so that they can be very very consistent throughout like entire season, right? But
Or get hurt?
but what happens during a 38 game season is Conte can have like really good runs and then have a little bit of a dip for a couple weeks and then have some really really good runs, then maybe you have another dip and then a really really good run and still win the title. The problem with the Champions League is if you get one of those dips during one of those months where you play in the Champions League twice, you could be out of the competition. And that's the problem. Like he has those dips, and he has those dips where his team just like seems like they forget how to play for like a week and a half. And if during that time you play twice in the Champions League, you're out. And that's why he loses. Because he's a manager that he's great over the long run. But the Champions League is won in like sprints, like spurts, and you have to be good during specific times. And if your team is not in good shape or you have X amount of injuries during a key part of the calendar, you're gone. That's how the Champions League works, and that's why I don't think Conte has ever been good at it. Because I think he kills his team during spring train, like during the preseason.
Yeah.
He kills them during the summer training, and then they just don't have enough juice. He's always
So
trying to get like a hundred
would you
percent.
also attribute the amount of injuries that Napoli's dealing with right now with Conte's preparation right during the preseason, right, and how much he
Yeah,
demands from his
yeah,
players?
yeah. I think it's a combination of that and the types of players he has, right? Because also De Bruyne is like an older player. He's not young, right? So when you squeeze an older player like that,
Yeah, but
it's different,
Anguissa,
Anguissa is a
right, which
big
I
tough
feel
player,
is the
but
biggest blow, has been
yeah,
the biggest blow
yeah,
for Napoli, right, because
yeah,
he's such a difference maker.
yeah.
Obviously, De Bruyne and Lukaku were both gonna add to the squad, but I think we were
Age is
talking
a
about
factor with Lukaku too.
those type of players that are kind of that right, that axis,
Yeah,
right? The players that you need to have to make everybody else better, to make the kind of your game style and your play style kind of flow. Anguissa, I feel, is that player, along with McTominay. Granted, you gotta give props
yeah,
to the reigning MVP of the Serie A. But I think that McTominay plays a lot better when he has Anguissa
yeah,
beside him, because he doesn't have to focus on doing some of the stuff that he needs to do when Anguissa's out.
yeah.
Right, Anguissa's more defensive minded. It gives opportunity for McTominay to go a little bit further up front and give some support to Holland, who has been playing well since coming over to Napoli. Um, but yeah,
The fact
Conte's
is,
struggling.
Conte doesn't have a replacement for Anguissa. He doesn't have that type of player in like the bench, right? So if Anguissa's out, he has to change how he's playing, and
Yeah,
that's just a problem for him. And then the evidence of the evidence that of what we just said, like the reason that Conte doesn't win the Champions League is because he squeezes his players so hard. Is that when he doesn't have the Champions League, he can win the league. But when he does have the Champions League, the amount of work he's putting on the players is so harsh that when you add those extra games, players just start breaking and they can't handle it.
yeah.
And that's why in that Juve game, Napoli's players looked like they just didn't have the energy to compete with Juve. That's what it looked like. It looked like they just couldn't run. Like Turam was running through the midfield like there was no one there. You know what I mean? If Zambo Anguissa had been there, I guarantee you, Turam wouldn't have had any of that room
Yeah.
for sure. You know, and that's a problem. You can't replace players like that. So if you work them to death, you have to expect them to break down at some point. And that's why he's always complaining about like, oh, I don't have the players to compete. You know, because he doesn't really have the depth.
And it would be interesting to see, right, if there are any Napoli fans tuning in, right? We'd love to get your opinion on whether you felt that you had any hopes of Napoli making it far in the Champions
No.
League this
They
season
they were
under
up in
Conte
that
or
game,
not.
man. They just couldn't hold on.
Uh,
Like even in that game, they just ran out of gas during the game. I mean, what more evidence do you need? They were up and they ended up losing because they ran out of gas.
no, I'll tell you one headline that I usually never read when it comes to Napoli is Conte gives team an additional day off.
Nah, bro. Like no, he's a drill sergeant, and like that, you can win the championship if you're not playing in Europe. If Conte's your coach, that's what it is.
And it sucks, right? It sucks because obviously we want to see all four Italian teams make it through.
Yeah, that's
I definitely wanted to see Napoli make it through and get Lukaku, get Anguissa, get De
yeah,
Bruyne back, right?
yeah.
Have their full squad, because I think when they get to having their full squad and feel their best starting 11, they're going to be dangerous. I think bittersweet, right? Because you're all out of the European tournament in the Champions League, but now you can focus a little bit more in the Serie A, which I think it's gonna be positive for Napoli to be able to solely focus on Serie A and Coppa Italia moving forward. But it's all about clicking at the right time, like you said earlier, right? So we hope that Atalanta, that Juve, and Inter do click at the right time moving forward. Because for me at least, when it comes to international tournaments, right, first you root for the club, then you root for the flag, right? So regardless, we want to see Italian clubs doing well. That also determines how many spots Italian clubs in Serie A gets in future Champions League tournaments as well, and how many clubs qualify for other competitions. So,
Hey,
uh,
dude,
so
if Zambangisa
positive
doesn't
vibes to
come
all three.
back, if Zambangisa doesn't come back, Napoli gonna be fourth. That's what's gonna happen.
I don't know how much time he'll be out. I know that Lukaku is just coming back. De Bruyne, I don't know what the timeline is on him either.
Right.
Um, I'm surprised that they really haven't done anything in the
Well,
market.
they brought
I
in
was,
Giovanni. Giovanni, I think he's like an attacker type player. I think they brought one more player in. I forgot who it was. Napoli
but
actually got two players, and they sent out Noah Lang and Luca.
so they replaced some players,
Yeah,
which is
basically.
probably honestly what Inter are gonna end up doing more than likely if they make any moves at all. Right, if Coffee or Perisic come in, more than likely we'll see either Diouf or Luis Enrique be loaned out. I would prefer that they stay and get some experience, but I don't expect obviously from anybody in the Serie A during what's left in the transfer market to make any big name world class signings. Right? We don't have that type of money
No.
in Serie A. It's not the Premiership. It's not La Liga even. But again, positive vibes for the Serie A teams that are left, the three that are left in moving forward in the Champions League with me here in the hallway, going to the round of 16 and to the playoffs. Definitely going to be tuning in, and we will be tuning in for Match Day 23 and
One
giving
more,
you our recap as always.
yeah, before
What's
we
up?
leave, one more thing that I want to announce that was big news of the days. Lorenzo Insigne returns to Pescara as a player. Pescara, dead last in the Serie B, just
That's
got a
crazy.
little bit of hope with Lorenzo Insigne, who's returning to Pescara. The last time that Lorenzo Insigne played for Pescara, Marco Verratti was there, Ciro Immobile was there, and Pescara won the
They had
Serie
the
B and they
squad.
got promoted. So, hoping for my hometown team that they can get out of the stupid relegation zone in Serie B and they can go back up to Serie A someday. So, glad to
Hopefully,
see
it's
Insigne
not
sign for
that
Pescara.
much. That's a good call out. Hopefully, he's not that over the hill that he can't help them get out of the relegation zone. But definitely, if he can get him out of the relegation zone and at least have them stay in Serie B, I would be very grateful to the veteran Lorenzo Insigne.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
and that's it for today, peeps. We appreciate you joining us again. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate you taking the time. My name's Marco Romano with Tito Yang.
Yep.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Serie Addicts, and peace out.
Peace out.